right, everybody. So I am here with a very, very special guest, Johnnie. Johnnie, how are you?
I'm great.
Good, good. Okay, so you've had a panel here at the event and also a workshop today. Can you tell me more about that, your panel and your workshop, and what you discussed, how it was?
Yeah, well, this morning I kicked it off with surviving the zombie apocalypse res style, which is one of my favorite things to discuss because it ties in indigenous survival with something that we all love in pop culture, which is zombies.
Okay, that is true. That is true. I love zombies. So immediately when I saw that, when I saw your brochure for it, I was like, wow, surviving the zombie apocalypse res style. That is interesting, just the title. So can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so where I kind of got the idea was there was a great article or blog post written by Dr. Kucha Reisling-Baldi where she was talking about the correlation between colonization and The Walking Dead.
Okay.
And it snapped like, oh yeah, she's right. Like this is something that does make sense because we have survived our apocalypse. Like it's already happened to Native people and we're in the rebuilding mode of that.
Wow.
And so I was also asked, like I do a lot of mental health work and in a lot of our Native communities, they believe that when you speak something, you speak it into existence.
Okay.
So, you know, there's certain words that they don't want you to use, like suicide or depression,
Right.
and you don't want to give it power. So I was thinking about how to get around that. Like, how do we address mental health? How do we address these issues without saying those words? So I was kind of workshopping, and then Indigenous Comic-Con came along, and I was like, oh, zombies, natives, this would be the perfect thing for this panel. But as I was developing, I realized like, oh, I could tie in mental health with this too, because it's got pop cultural relevance and it's something that kids can relate to and it's not preachy. So they will be getting the idea of survival without even realizing it in various ways, not just zombies, but also with mental health.
Absolutely.
And I focus on 4 main areas, like our strongholds, like where do you go for safety? I focus on communication because we're going to have to know how to get in contact with each other and like letting each other know like what's going on. I focus on traditional medicines because, you know, there is a stigma that comes with mental health and with medication. So I want to kind of take that back and be like, we've always had traditional medicines and all modern medicine is rooted in ancestral knowledge and ancestral medicine. So kind of removing that stigma through that. And then also talking about weaponry. How do we protect ourselves?
Right.
And, you know, and not just mental health, but like physically.
Right.
So I was able to talk about like our native weaponry, native warfare, and, you know, it's kind of came together just perfectly.
Wow. So, like I said, when I saw the title, I was intrigued, but just hearing you speak on it, this is loaded. You literally took this and made it relatable, like you said, to pop culture, so people just, it'll draw them in, like it drew me in, but even when you said just that initial correlation of how you all have survived your own apocalypse, that got me right there. It's like, wow, so you really did that. That is, you got it. You got it. Well, that is something else. I love it. And obviously, being here at the Native American Museum of Culture, we talk about indigenuity. Can you tell me what that means to you?
Yeah, well, you know, Native people have always been scientists. We've always been innovators and like forward thinkers, but you don't know that. So much of what you see in the media portrays us as people of the past. And there's a belief that when we were here, we were just here. Like we weren't doing anything, but we were always innovating, you know, like corn. You know, we were engineering different types of corn to grow in different areas. You know, we had advanced irrigation systems. You know, we were doing all these things. We had star maps. You know, we knew how to use and read the environment around us. So, you know, I think when we're talking about indigenuity, it's bringing all that forward and being like, this is who we've always been. Like, it's not new for us to think about strategy or to think about logic or science and math. Like, these have always been a part of who we are as Indigenous people, and we've always used them to survive, you know, and even now in our modern times, it's still relevant to our survival. And there's a place and time for it. And most modern sciences, maths, are rooted in that indigenous knowledge.
Wow, Johnnie, you are phenomenal. You're a rock star. You literally given me such a cultural lesson right now. And I won't take up too much of your time because I know you're very busy and you have to educate people on how to survive the zombie apocalypse. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.